Hello, beautiful beings on the planet. Happy New Year 2024. I just got these deck of cards and I'm going to shuffle them and let's see what we get. This is quite exciting and I've been doing this since last year, but yeah, I just wanted to do this this time on YouTube too. So let's see what we get. So this one is Temple of Truth. And it's already so beautiful. Look at this gate. It looks like the temple in Malaysia. So this card talks about throat chakra, which is about authenticity and self-expression. And you also get a book with that. So let's see what that says. Temple of Truth, throat chakra. It's on 153, so I go there. 53. Yeah. So basically, this is about the throat chakra that is found between collarbones and is the energetic center that governs everything to do with truth, communication, and self expression. Whenever we have to speak up, raise our voice, or even just get our emotions out, it is activated. We'll often feel when this space is clogged up energetically or when it needs to open because we'll feel a lump in our throat or even our heart. So we all do face this so often that there is a sort of energy disbalance in your body, many times in your throat and in your heart center. Sometimes you might also find it in your solar plexus. And it's because you're not being self-authentic. You're not being authentic and you're not expressing yourself well. So this card transports us to the Temple of Truth, the inner energetic gateway that supports our truest form of expression. The image shows that this is the bright, airy, open space with flowing water. Look at this. So, with the flowing water, this represents the emotions that run through us. Emotions are powerful messengers, and if we don't attend to what needs to come out or through us, they build up, and before we know it, we are overwhelmed by them. And this is so true, right? So, you need to connect. How we do that is place your fingertips on either side of your collarbone and breathe towards your throat center. Visualize a doorway opening or a portal forming, allowing the energy within to flow freely. It also talks about your message, and it says when you are brought to this space, you are being reminded of the importance of your identity and your self-expression in this lifetime. Acknowledging who you are, who you have been, and who you are becoming is so important for the unfoldment of your path. There's an old story that the truth hurts. This gateway reminds us that in fact the truth heals. Your truth is your truth, and it's important for you to honor it with every facet of your being. This isn't the first incarnation in which you have felt the importance of honesty and authenticity, but it may be the first in which you have had full freedom of expression. So this is really true, and I could truly feel pretty much aligned with this card in the sense it's not just about card, but deep inside we all know this thing that we all have got like millions of expressions probably what we want to exhibit, but you probably do not know, like maybe in the field of art you want to be a painter and you think maybe I'm not that great enough, but all you need to do is truly do a test. Like for example, I did this art today. This is a Japanese temple, and generally I love the scenery and nature and all of that. And yeah, basically just to get over the resistance which we have, which I think is just there for everybody, in the sense that you want to express something and there is a lot of resistance. Sometimes it might be from the outer society, or sometimes most of the time it's you yourself who's trying to resist the creativity that's trying to come out of you, maybe in the form of music or in the form of art, or it might be in the form of a new business that you may want to do. Maybe you want to open a restaurant, but you're thinking too many things that I don't know how to go about it. And also the fear of failure, which is so strong in all of us. But the moment you do come to this point that there's nothing to lose, then I think that is the point wherein we can be free. And also about the importance of a thing, because if you don't think what you're doing is important, nobody wants to do that. But if you take it like a game, because life is a game, and then you can be more free and be more playful with the aspects of that, and then you can create and see whatever you are creating, do you like it or you don't like it. Chances are you may like it, others may not like it, but that's not so important. As long as you are doing the tests inside of yourself, are you strong enough to do the experiments that your soul tells you that you need to do? Because most of the time we don't listen to our own voice, we do not listen to our own intuition, and that's what is the main cause of frustration. So your frustration, and in general the frustration that people have, is not because somebody else tells you this and that, is because somebody else is not liking your art or your music or your or just even your presence. Probably you are a very high vibing person, and people with low vibes, surely they're not going to like to be around you, because their own inner ghosts and demons get absolutely terrified with that, because they might not be living in their own sense of truth, and looking at you they might feel, why are they being who they are? Because I'm completely wearing a mask, and I'm doing this just to keep myself safe. Well, there is no thing called as safety. There's nothing, no such thing, because truly if you're trying to secure a thing and try to say, this is what, if I do such and such steps, my future is going to be secured. There's no such thing, because in truth nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. You might die today or tomorrow, or maybe in 2 years time. Nobody has guarantee that anybody is going to live 100 years of a lifetime. So the only thing that I wanted to speak through this message, this video, was that about having the courage to experiment. In fact, even before we go to the courage, there are a lot of barriers which is inside of you. So you have no right to blame to the society. You have no right to blame to parents, because many times I have a lot of an anger inside of me, which I think, oh, it's because of them that I have so much of limitations in my own mind, which stops me from doing. Because as a child, you were too much kept in a secure environment. Don't do this, don't do that. Oh my God, where are you going? But now you're not a child anymore. Maybe if you're a 5 or 6 year old kid, or maybe if you're under 10, a lot of parent supervision is important. But once you have grown to an adult, you do not need so much of a strong supervision. So what the parents do is, they have already left traces of them in the child. And now, even though you do not have your parent around, your subconscious parts are still guiding you through, and you always feel, oh my God, what happens if I do this, and I might be mocked by those people, and I might lose this money, and I might lose that thing. Though in truth, we are going to lose everything. Every single thing what we have, we will lose. You do not even have to wait for death for things to be taken. Things are ever changing. Your situation today might change tomorrow in a second, just in a flip of time. And not just about that, everything is ever changing, and everybody knows this thing. And it's pretty scary as well. And at the same time, if you're too much doing the same thing year after year, there's also a frustration that builds up. So human mind is pretty strange, isn't it? In the sense, if you're very sure of what you're doing, and luckily that's what happens, that life gives you the situations and scenarios which you planned, and things are going that way, you do get bored at that, don't you? You do think, it's just too boring, I want something magnificent. I want life to just be in a boom state. I want something fantastic, phenomenal to happen. I don't want to live this boring sort of life in which you just do a regular day-to-day thing. But at the same time, you also want you do not want an accident. You do not want a surprise. Like surprise, you don't want that kind of a thing. You also want some, basically human looks for comfort. You want comfort, but at the same time, you want something exciting to happen. Well, you can try, you can do whatever you think, but there's no guarantee that once you have reached the end point, it will give you exact result. Because that's a human nature. Look at your own life. When you were small, you just wanted to get through the school, and you were in such a rush to become an adult, only for the reason that you wanted to be free of the clutches of your school system and college education system. You wanted to be free. And nobody wants to keep on following the same regular, boring path wherein they tell you, you study this, you get this marks, and then it's good, you're good. Unfortunately, even when you have grown big And even if you have grown an adult, and if you're looking for approval from others, that somebody's there out there who's going to put a check mark on how you live and say, yeah, I approve of you. Haha, there's nobody like that. Because the truth is, nobody's ever going to approve anything that you do, be it your father, your mother, your wife, your husband, your grandfather, your own son, your own children, your own grandchildren. Nobody. Because everybody comes with their own set of individuality, and everybody has a different lens through which they look at the world. So you, despite being in a crowd, you are absolutely alone, because you know exactly what you want. Even worse, you do not know what you want. And though some people, they might be so terrified to accept this fact that, do you mean to say I don't know what I want? Yes, that's the only truth. Nobody exactly knows what they want. But the fear of accepting this truth is so humongous that we stick to one thing, because then you have to be with the unknown, and life is always in the unknown. Like you never knew who your parents would be at the time you were born. You never knew the country you were born to. You on your own never even knew while you were in school and you were growing up what the future holds. So if you look at that way, it's pretty uncertain for everybody. Nobody has any clue, but then they pretend to be. Also, nobody is actually acting that way. It's the situation into the life that puts them there. So, for example, an artist who is a painter, it's not only their own individual thought that says them, yeah, I want to be a painter, and there you go, you become a painter. There are a lot of other circumstances around that. There's a different environment around that person that forces them, so to speak, to go in that direction. Else a painter might also be doing something else, and that's okay. I'm not saying in terms of skills. Maybe one person can have multiple skills. You might be a singer, you might be a dancer, you might be an entrepreneur, you might be a chef as well, and you might have a number of different skills. What I'm saying is, it's all about the situation in which a human is placed. So there's no need for you to compare yourself to others, thinking that, oh wow, they're so lucky, they have this and that, and look at me, I haven't figured it out yet, and life is already passing. And why is this also important? Because, well, in reality, nothing is important. What is important is just the freedom of lightness. So if you could be free of your own thoughts, if you could be free of the burden of having the same mundane thoughts day after day, which drains a lot of energy, every thought holds a ton of energy. So then definitely that gives you a lot of freedom in terms of having empty space. But that too is not in your control. I was listening to a very interesting talk of Krishnamurti, and he says that uh, basically everyone just wants to live with the known, but truly the life is in the unknown. This is very exciting, because let's say if you want to maybe open a startup, and you're not too sure if your first startup is going to really work, or maybe it might take you 2 3 attempts, so you might have to go through 2 3 multiple businesses and might have to take that hit, that loss. And if you give up under that pressure, that, okay, I've taken so much of a loan and that didn't work out, so now what? You think you have a choice. It's you which is actually deciding at that point. But truly, how do you come to that decision is through a very complex circuit of channels which you cannot track. So basically, you have no other choice but to live with the unknown. Does it strike fear? Yes, it does. Does it strike comfort? Sometimes it does. Because then, if you are in acceptance with the unknown, and if you have the courage to be with the unknown, then probably you shall be able to see, and not be dependent on hope, because hope is also very empty. Hoping for what? What are you hoping for? There's nothing to hope for. Dreaming for what? There's nothing to dream. You just are. And as Nisargadatta Maharaj says in this great book, I'm That, Beautiful book, fantastic. This book has literally taken me through. If there's one book and I'm just maybe even out of the planet or living on an island, I need nothing else but just this book. And probably now I do not need this book. I'm that. Because he says just to be in your state of I am. That is all that we need. We need not live in a desire state or in a fear state, because both are the deviations of the mind. So you might keep on thinking, but all these positive affirmations and all these all these positive self-help books, they talk a lot about doing positive things. But truly, if you're not triggered by an external situation, you do not desire anything. You're in an absolute state of ease when nobody is there to disturb you. Let's say you are sitting on an island, or maybe you're at the beach and nobody is there to disturb you. You are just relaxing. So at that point of time, you do not have any strong desires that I want to be this or that. Notice this thing, that desire comes because you have been triggered by society, because you have seen the ugly side of the world. And in that pressure, in that situation, is precisely you go there and then you say, now I want to feel the opposite. Just like day and night, the dualities of life. So because of fear, there is desire. If there's no fear, there's going to be no desire, and vice versa. If there's no desire, there's no fear. So this game of duality is there throughout completely. What Nisargadatta Maharaj says is, you just need to be in your I am state, which is the witness state. And gradually, as you're staying in your witness state, it will take you further. So from the consciousness state, first thing is you stay with your consciousness. And then the next thing is you go even way deeper and you come to the awareness. And one very interesting thing which I find is very accurate, though it's very confusing as well to think, but I definitely like that. He says that awareness does not need consciousness, but consciousness needs awareness. What does that mean? So basically, when you are in deep sleep, you are not conscious, but you are aware that you are in deep sleep. That's why next day when you wake up and then you think that, oh yeah, I had a very nice sleep last night. I was so relaxed. I had a very good sleep. I didn't see any dream. I was so relaxed. I just woke up. My body is so light. My senses are so rejuvenated. I feel like a baby. You just wake up so happy like a baby. So this is amazing. And you must do this experiment. Stay in your I am. And that's where you will feel how does that go? Because of course, in a day, if you are honest to yourself, the daytime of the in a 24-hour. So that is very chaotic, right? You are in workspace, you are doing your business, or wherever you are in traffic, or whatever. Even if you are at home, you are cooking, and there are a lot of thoughts coming through your mind. You are thinking, oh, I have decisions to make. And check this out. How does making a decision strike a fear in you? Nobody wants to decide. Like, you give them a lot of options, and it's so much burdensome to keep on thinking I have so many decisions to make. And how can you even weigh the possibility and the probabilities of which thing would give me more profit? Option A, B, C, D. It's maddening, and you're just going to get super confused and very well irritated too. So the problem of decision making, and because of the fact that humans, no matter how logical you claim yourself to be, that I'm a very logical man or woman, no, you're not. You're not that. Humans make decision in a very irrational way. You might like something which has no qualities at all. You might hate something which has perfect qualities. So who is to decide what is perfect and what is imperfect? Nobody knows. Again, coming back to the point, so the experiment here is that we need to do is stay in your I am state. So what does that mean? You are just going to watch your own mind, like how you watch YouTube, like how you watch Netflix, how you watch TV. So while things are easy, that's all right. You're not going to have any sort of a trouble. watching your own self. You might have very pleasant, happy, joyful thoughts. You might just feel very happy for no reason. And you might also feel very irritated. Somebody's just maybe, they said something that you didn't like. They did some sort of an expression which you didn't like. So that might trigger a sense of unease in you. And notice that it's only the trigger point, but deep inside of you, you have all of these unconscious states. So the other person, what they do is just they pinprick you. But it's not 100%, they are not responsible. But your anger and hate is extroverted towards them. They might have just said something silly, some silly or mean comment to you, but that shouldn't be that bad. Why does that trigger so much of an emotion and hate and rage in you? Probably they are having a bad day and they are just frustrated just like you. So what do? You still stay in your I am state. You still watch that. And of course, there's going to be a lot of negative energy that you would feel in your body. Your sacral chakra and your solar plexus, they are going, you feel very heavy in your gut, right? Whenever there is an unease in the environment. You feel very heavy in your heart. You feel that you are not able to express yourself fully well. You feel like a lump in the throat. That's what the card says, right? The first thing that I talked about in the beginning of the video. Throat chakra gets blocked. So all of this is because of our unawareness of slipping from the I am state. So if we do stay in our I am state, it's not that you will not have challenges in life and you will not feel unease. Definitely you will. But as you keep watching this, as you are more in the witness state, the sway of desire and fear will lose their control. That's what Nisargadatta Maharaj says. He says that gradually desire and fear lost their control on me, which for a normal human like you and me, we are completely shaken by both of these things, by desire and fear. So to be more mindful, and then gradually, that is only step one, because staying unconscious and having negative energy is definitely going to take you nowhere. So from negative you try and get to positive, and from the positive you try and get to transcend both by being in the witness consciousness state. Because the negative side, the being the devil, being the evil, is like the iron gate, the iron prison. It's also a prison. And being good and angelic is also another golden prison. So actually both are prisons. But we should transcend. And notice that you don't do this for others. You just do this only for yourself. You don't do this to help your father, your mother, or your community, or your country, or society, or planet, or universe. You do all this for yourself. Because what Maharaj says is that you start with your own self. Your job is not to fix others. Let them do whatever. Your job is only to fix yourself. And there's no fixing, in fact. You just watch. You just watch yourself. Every time the mind turns outward, you bring it back. Every time you have a judgment about others, oh, what neighbors are doing, what are people doing at office, oh, why is that dog barking, why is that cat screaming, whatever thoughts you get, your job is to center it back to the source. Who's the thinker of the thought? So the moment you will say, of course it's me who's thinking. So if you say that, oh, your boss is screaming at you, and then you say, this is a thought, okay? So you say this is a thought, but this is a thought that has arisen into me, right? You never know what is the thought of another person. You might assume that you know that this is what the other person is thinking. Maybe they are thinking something bad. Maybe they are thinking something good. Maybe they are a saint. Maybe they are a sinner, whatever. That is who you think they are thinking. Because truly nobody knows what somebody else is thinking. So your job is to come back to the center and stay in that thought state. So whatever is this thought, do not get swayed. Just watch it. It's a thought of hate or goodness or anger or fear, whatever, or a judgment. Do not even label it. Just watch it. And then ask, to whom has it arisen? And then the answer is to I. And then you ask, who am I? Who am I? First, you stay in the I. You just watch, I am, I am. And we just stay in that witness state. Maharaj did this practice for 3 years and then he got enlightened. So he was enlightened by the time he was 37. And he met his Maharaj, Shree Siddhappa. But then he had died, like after he met his Maharaj. And just within 1 year, his Maharaj, his Guru, had died. And there's this beautiful channel of Samaneri Jayasara, and I've been following her for quite a long time. She's amazing. She puts up all the amazing videos of phenomenal gurus, of Rinpoche, of Nisargadatta Maharaj, of Ramana Maharishi, of all of the awakened masters, of Buddha, of Golden Sutra, of Diamond Sutra, of Gita, of all the amazing. These are way more valuable than gold, because these are just the most epic and most important things that if one understands, life is going to be pretty easy. At least not easy in that easy sense. It's just going to be, it's not going to weigh too heavy on you. Yeah, I can put it that way. It won't weigh too much on you. It's not that if you have the wisdom, you will not get killed. You might get killed tomorrow, despite having the wisdom. But then the weight of that would not be too heavy on that. So you might, it's just for testing. It's just there for knowing. Like it's written in Bible. Let those who have ears listen. Let those who have eyes see. So if there is all this gold, why not understand that? And why not imbibe it in your day-to-day living? And that's the whole purpose, I think, of sharing. And that's the whole purpose of social media. So we can learn and share and spread. What else is the use of communication? What else is the use of spreading good vibes on the planet? Thank you.